Hi, this is Paul over here at FR8 Connect, Freight Connect. And I decided that I didn't get on this weekend. For Saturday, I did not, and Sunday, I did not. But we are 2:14 in the morning on Monday morning. It would be January 26th. It's almost the month is almost over. But I decided to get on here tonight just because of the storm. I was here working late, and then I happened to click on the page that shows the power outage for all of the United States. And I think I had put that down on the link, below as a link. Um, so that might be there. No, I don't think I did. I'm not sure. But there is a link and I'll add that. But you're able to click on there and it'll show you the power outage throughout the United States. And I took notice of that. Let me see. I need to pull it up again. Um, Here we go. And it's called poweroutage.com. I might have mentioned it, but it's called poweroutage.com. There may be some other links that you can go to, but this is one. I did put a link to a guy talking about the weather. I think it was on Friday, and talking about what was expected, possibly expected. He seemed to be very knowledgeable at that, and so I posted that link. And he did give this site of poweroutage.com. And, we're all human beings, no matter whether we're in trucking or in some other profession, and it affects us all. Um, oh, wow. Okay. I like this site. I don't know how interactive this is, but it gives you you can go to different states. Like it'll highlight the state if there's power outage, maybe at a certain percentage. And then you can click on it and drill down and go to the county level and it'll give you totals. It'll give you state total and then it'll give you the county total. And going on here, I'm going to go back. I'm not too familiar with how to use this, but it's pretty easy to use. Wow. Okay. I guess I put interactive on it. Oh, I did. Okay, great. Region. Okay, you go region. Okay. So anyway, I'm looking at all the United States. It's showing that there's some outage in Colorado, some outage in New Mexico, Kansas, Missouri. It's really light in some of these areas in terms of outage, but and anywhere where that storm hit, you see outage. And there is like this wall. It goes from Louisiana up to Mississippi and to Tennessee and to Kentucky. Shouts out to Louisville. There are a lot of outages, and let me see. I'm gonna try to deal in. Let me go back here. Here we go. Okay, so this one here shows Texas has 59, almost 60,000 customers out of power. So power outages. How current this is, like if this is up to the minute, I don't know. Might show it here, but it does say 60,000 people are without power in Texas. You move over to Louisiana, there's 22,400. That represents 5%, 5.28% of those that are being tracked. In Texas, that represents 0.39%, so not even 1%. Customers being tracked is 15 million. Louisiana, you got Louisiana, 2.3 million that are being tracked. And then you go into Mississippi, less population, but 1,400 being tracked. 157,000 are out. And that's almost 11%. Tennessee has 7.4% outage, 255,000 people or households. So, you got you double that. That's over 400,000 people. When it says outage, I'm not sure if maybe that means office buildings too. I don't know, but that's huge. Then you go into Kentucky, you got 49,000, at 2%. West Virginia has outage at almost 2%, 19,000, 22,700 in Virginia, 28,400 in North Carolina. South Carolina, 43,400 at 1.4% outage. Georgia has 35,000, 35,300 customers out, and that represents almost 1%, 6.66%. I think I got pretty much all of them. There's, what is that? That's something really tiny. Virginia, did I say that? 22,700 at 0.5%. And then you've got some others, but those are the bigger ones that are showing up. And one thing I wanted to do was just drill in on it. Like I'm going into, is this Mississippi? I think that's Mississippi. Why doesn't it say it? It should say it. Any rate, well, let me make sure, because yeah, it says it right there, Mississippi. And you go into some of these counties, they might be small, might be big, it doesn't matter, but the whole county's out. You've got 89% outage, and that's 820 people or customers, and you know, they're tracking 920 customers. So they've got, that means 100 have power. But man, can you imagine? Because it's, I don't know what the temperature is right now here. It was 3. I think it's supposed to be down to 1 or so here where I'm at. And then hey Siri, what's the temperature? Oh, we got it right there.
It's -2 degrees outside.
There you go. So it's -2 degrees outside. And then these people without, I don't care if it's 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 20 degrees. I know it's cold and I know it's below zero. That is not a happy place to be. And so I really feel for these people. You know, another county, 99.67% outage. They've got 1,227 that they're tracking, 1,223 out of power at 2, 3 in the morning, depending upon the timeline. Is that what they call it? You know, whether Eastern time zone, there you go, depending on the time zone, but it doesn't matter. And it's just cold. And even if it was during the day, you know, and it's 2 degrees, 5 degrees, 10 degrees, 11 degrees, it's cold. Yeah, this is just not good. So at any rate, hopefully you all are staying warm. I don't know, for some reason felt to get on, like I wanted to get on here and just mention that. And but at the same time, also, hopefully, you know, you might even live in these areas. You might have family and friends that are in these areas, you know, so check on them, make sure they're okay. You know, might not be able to do anything for them. Maybe pray for them. You know, I just hope that that they're able to figure it out, you know, figure out what to do while the power's out, or get that power back up and running. So here we are, we're in transportation, right? Trucking, and there's power outages that happen. Things slow down. So, you know, you've got people there in Mississippi and other places, whether it's Texas or wherever, kids aren't going to be going to school tomorrow. In some cases, I don't believe that they will be. I think in a lot of cases, they will not be going to school. We had 4 or 5 inches here. It wasn't too bad, you know, the snow came and it went and stayed in and worked. That's what I'm doing now. But there was a lot of snow that did come down, but other places got it worse. And, you know, hopefully you're okay. And, but it's going to slow a lot of things down. I don't know if you guys got the article, but, you know, it's definitely something to consider, to think about and understand how this impacts the economy. It definitely impacts people, and people are the economy, right? You know, what kind of support is going to be needed in these areas? I don't know. What is going to be delayed? Some people won't go to work. You know, down here with outages, people won't go to work. There will be things that are backed up. You have some. I think it's Mississippi. It's either Alabama or Mississippi. I can't remember which one it is, but you have a lot of auto manufacturers, right? So they have to, I don't know how they operate in the wintertime or anything like that. I don't know much about them, but I would imagine, they have to keep running. They have to keep operating. I remember I had a friend that worked at Amazon, and when the weather would get bad, and what did she do? She stayed in her car, so she wouldn't go home. She stayed in the car. But that, so yeah, so she did not go home, and then I guess she would just work the next day. But that is, Amazon, they kept it going, kept it going, kept it going. And so these factories, they've got to keep the production going. So I don't know how that impacts them, the snow, this type of weather, and they may need some help. They may need some kind of help, some kind of backup, or they might get backed up. Who knows? I don't know how that works. But again, there may be a situation with parts and what have you that they need. And then there's other places. So that is something to consider, to keep in mind. And again, when you're shaking hands, know how to shake a hand, meaning how to communicate with people and develop those relationships. They make a difference, and like I said, during this time period, things tend to slow down, pause, or whatever, and then they pick back up, but they're trying to get caught up, right? And that could be an opportunity for you. And when you do have that opportunity, it's not a situation of where you want to just do it one time. You want to be able to have that persona every single time that you're communicating with opportunities. And opportunities, you never know when they're going to come up. So you always have to be prepared. So it's a matter of always being prepared, always figuring out, how do I communicate with people, right? And it's not to always get something from them. If you're able to figure that out just naturally, in a way that you do attract people or don't repel people. When you do meet people and you're able to meet them again, or make it purposeful, right? Where you are communicating with them, getting information and reaching out to them. You want to do that. You want to be rememberable. That doesn't mean you have to be a Michael Jackson and spinning around and doing all kind of fancy things, but you definitely want to be you, but you want to engage, and then again, 30 days down the road, 60, 90 days down the road, you could see yourself in a different situation. That doesn't mean that's going to work for everyone every single time. And that's the point of always being ready, right? Because when the opportunity comes, which you don't know when that opportunity is going to come, you want to be prepared and be ready for it, right? Like, I mean, this weather situation, you want to be ready for it. You want to be prepared for it. That's my whole thing about readiness, why I'm doing this. One of the reasons why I'm doing it in this way, in terms of getting my body ready, trying to get it where I want it to be. It was a challenge this weekend, in the sense that yesterday, not going to lie, Saturday, Sunday, I didn't do anything. I say hibernated, but I was inside working. So I hibernated and worked. But again, there is a delay. So I don't know that I'm going to catch back up. I'm not going to catch up, but I'm going to get back to it. They did shovel snow around here, so we've got pathways. Does that mean I'm going to go out and run? It's supposed to be pretty cold. What it's going to be later today, I don't know. But I did do, I decided to do some push-ups today. I did that, and I felt pretty good about it because I hadn't done them in a long time. So I was able to pump out 20, and I know I'm going to feel a little soreness tomorrow just because I haven't done them in a while. But um, but yeah, so I'll just have to figure out a routine on the inside, right? Give me a little inside routine. Maybe pull out my kettlebell. I don't have a kettlebell, but you can use books. I think you can use anything, I would imagine, that causes you to stand properly, go through the motion properly, and maybe put a little weight to it. So yeah, so we're gonna try to get the kettlebell out, and go at it. But again, the backup, um, that doesn't stop things. Things keep going, businesses keep moving along. And if you guys are out there and you're on the road, I'm hoping that you're safe. There's not too many places that you're going to be able to hide from this weather, from this temperatures, from these low temperatures. So, definitely bundle up. If you see someone that might be struggling, if possible, help out however you can. Um, you know, maybe somebody is at the convenience store and they're having trouble getting all their stuff to the car. Maybe help them in that way, or whatever it might be. Help, I think, is always good to give, and I think it's always received in the best way, even if it doesn't appear to be. It's just a matter of how the what it does for you, what it does for you personally. And that's what it's about. It's about that transformation. And you don't want to be naive about anything, but you definitely want to, I think, want to be on track with thinking about others. So yeah, so this storm, you if you are going in these states, and I'm sure that you have ways of communicating, but wherever you're going, maybe call ahead of time, find out what the situation is, right? Maybe they've got some situation going on where, they're not going to be able to take that delivery, or they have some kind of special routes or changes, some things that are going on, some changes that are made. So check in. And if it's impacting you, be courteous enough to reach out and let others know. Let your consignee know, let the broker know, let the customer know. Those are things that make you a carrier of choice, right? Do these things that, again, thinking about others. You're going to be in bad situations, and fill other people in, right? That's what we do in running a business, right? That's what we have to do. Things go sideways. Um, it may not be our fault, but yet we're going to be the one to be responsible. We're not going to look to point fingers at other people, or shouldn't, but things do happen, right? And hopefully whoever you're working with, the customer, the broker, consignee, whoever it is, hopefully they'll understand. And if they don't, there's another day, there's another load, there's another, you know that's why we're in it. We're not in it for the all these challenging situations, that may come up like that. That's not what this is about. But they will come up, and those are the things that really, they do train us, right? They train us to do better. So that's an opportunity right there. Like I say, we don't know when these things are going to show up and how they're going to show up, but take advantage of those opportunities. Even, like I say, the bad things that come up, how do I work through this? Conflict resolution. That's a big deal. How do I handle conflict resolution? And that can be even within my own company. There may be conflict resolution that needs to be practiced within my own company. um, but again, it's dealing with people, whether they are hired within my company, or whether they're driver, staff, um, consignee, shipper, whatever it might be, the convenience store. The one thing I always say is, you never know who's looking at you, right? You never ever know. So you can be out and about, and something happens, and then you act however you act, and one of your clients could be in there, or it could be a broker, it could be the carrier, or the shipper. I'm sorry, it could be the consignee, and then all of a sudden you're making a delivery. Uh-oh. It's the same person I had an issue with, or it is someone who saw you, and you don't even know if they ever saw you. At some point you might be wondering, why aren't we getting a call anymore from, this business? It could be because of something we did out there. Now, is that going to happen? Who knows? It could, but it's a good practice. I always say, always practice. Always. I don't care what it is. If you're making phone calls, you're always practicing, right? Always you're practicing, always practice. I don't care if you made 1,000 phone calls today. Every call is a practice call, because it's never the same. It really isn't. Anybody that you talk to on the other end, if that's not the same person you talked to just the call before, that's a different call. And then not only that, even if you call that person back, you don't know what they're going to be like from one moment to the next. Because I've had that situation. I've had that from not just calling from 1 week to the next, the same person, but calling the same day within 5 minutes. And it seemed like a different person, you know? And you have to quickly adjust, right? So, it's always about, I believe it's always about, working to improve ourselves, and that helps in so many ways for us personally and actually for others as well. When you set that environment, when you set the climate, you know, when you set that climate, it makes a difference. It can make a difference for other people in the room, you know? So, and yeah, and when you do these things, you don't think about it. You don't even think about it. You get to the point where you're not thinking about it. Or maybe it does come up, but it's not in the sense of, okay, I got to go left with this. I don't know if left is the bad way to go, but whichever way it is, to go in the bad way, you don't do that, you know? Um, you consider the situation, we move on. Sometimes it can be hard. There's no question about that, but we're not perfect, right? So that's okay. Any rate, off of that, that's about it. So, all right. I don't have much more, I think, then I am going to get back to what I was doing. And yeah, so I'm going to get back to what I was doing and see how much I can get done here. There's a lot to do, and I never get as far as I want to get to. I never do. I never do. But I get things done. I just never get to where I want to get to. So, any rate, you guys have a safe rest of the evening, and definitely be safe tomorrow. Be kind to one another, and we'll talk soon again. All right. God bless you.